This is Big Wyno, and I'm with Jimbo on Cross the Street, about to get hit by a car, because that's how we roll.
So if you see me drinking, if you see me drinking in the hood, hold back out. If you see me drinking in the hood, hold back out. If you see me drinking in the hood, hold back out. Yeah, hold back out. Yeah, hold back out, back out.
Big Wyno got thugs from the 90s nodding heads, while you writers giving brain like we're in The Walking Dead. Bunch of candy ass rappers talking heads look like a pad. I shoot the 5 and get the heads like the tails of these hoes. At the end of my rope, all of my enemies hang from the rated ill family tree.
What is good? I'm here today with Big Wyno. Finally got you on the show. Thanks for showing up, sir. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you for having me, man.
Check out where we're at today, too.
Yeah, this is Fused, man. Welcome to Fused.
Yeah, look at that. Ooh, nice little work on the world.
Yeah, that was done by Jedi, too.
Jedi did that?
Jedi did this whole piece, yeah.
Oh, tight. Nice work, Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's
I didn't
dope.
know.
Super dope.
You watch the show enough, I bring everybody a gift.
That's what's up. I got a gift for you, too. It's out in the car.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Whenever you get to, you can drink if you want. Yeah.
Definitely.
No, this is cool, man. Thanks again for the invite. I know we're waiting. Kelsey said she might actually stop in too, right?
Oh, she'll definitely be here.
Yeah. So what have you been up to? It's a big week for everybody here in Portland. We just got done with the HipHop Awards.
Yeah, man.
Give us a little recap on how that all...
Jeez. So, so basically, the last 6 months of my life has culminated to what the last week of like with the Star Awards, Skill Fest, all the events that go on during Portland Hip Hop Week. You know what I mean? So, kind of in a nutshell, I guess my biggest contribution to that was Skill Fest and being able to bring graffiti writers, breakdancers, and have like a all elements kind of situation happen with Skill Fest.
Disconnected.
All right. Thanks.
Definitely. But yeah, with Skill Fest 5, we brought it here to Portland. So it was a really big deal for me to bring it back to my hometown and just really celebrate hip hop, So now
that was cool. I will say when I went out to the last night of the awards there, it was really nice to see the graffiti artists out and the breakers out and linoleum spread all over the place.
Yeah, it was dope, man.
Yeah.
I'm super psyched that I feel like this year was really impactful in connecting all 4 of the elements together and really reminding people like, hey, it's more than just rappers.
Sure. No.
So, yeah.
No, that was cool. I like the event that you put on there. I think that's, like you said, really important to get all the elements of everybody under the same roof with one another or whatever. So,
yeah, definitely.
So what have you been doing after that? Now that that's over with, I mean...
So I'm supposed to be taking a break. Yeah, so Lee Goddess, she's my wife. She's also an artist. But I promised her that I would be taking a break. So we're going to kind of go on vacation. And so tomorrow I'm going to Seattle to Massive Monkey Weekend. And we're going to go kick it with more breakers, B-boys, and MCs. And
so much for the break.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. It's a break for me because I'm not throwing the event, right?
Okay.
I'm enjoying people. I'm enjoying the scene. I get to represent Portland and Seattle and remind them, hey, we're here. Along with all the other breakers that are going to be there, reminding them, hopefully with a W, that, hey, we're still out here.
That's cool. So you get to go out and rub some shoulders and shake some hands. And
Definitely.
And who's going with you? Just you and the Goddess? That's it?
Yeah, it looks like right now I got my boy Keyshawn,
Hey.
also known as Bboy Nightwolf.
Come on over. You can't just sit there now.
Right?
Call
And then we got a couple other breakers coming. I'm hoping that we can twist Details leg, B-Boy Details, who got runner-up, second place at Skillfest, to come with us. I think there's a lot of breakers that are already up there, left a week early.
Yeah, they left a whole week early.
Yeah, they're out there prepping, ready to get it in.
They left like, what's today?
Today's
Friday?
Friday, yeah.
They left like last Thursday.
Yeah, so they've been out there since Thursday ready to
You're
get
going to
it.
go down and dance then, right?
I am. There's going to be open ciphers and stuff there, so I'm going to be part of all of that. I'm not competing only because I think it's invitational only. Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I'm not sure if it's invitation or...
But yeah, I'll be doing like the open ciphers and stuff.
Well, before you get out of here, drop your social media so you know where to find you.
So on Instagram, it's P-Town Key. So it's P-Town and then K-E-Y. And then Facebook is Keyshawn Bennett, which is K-I-S-E-A-N.
Yeah, hire this guy for your music videos. He's also an instructor here at Fused, so
Dope.
if you want to learn some breakdancing, this is where to go.
Looking forward
And
to
don't
that.
ever call it breakdancing, ever. Just call it breaking.
Hey, little tip from the culture there for everybody.
I know, don't do what I just did, basically.
How did you even get into that breaking culture? Is that something that you just kind of fell into, or?
So I've been rapping since I was like 13, right? So I lived out here. Like when I first moved from San Diego to the Northwest, I actually lived in Vancouver at first, like when I was like 12 or 13. And then probably around like 13, 14, I was orphaned, right? And so I left, you know, from Vancouver to Portland because it was easier to be homeless out here. And I would just go back and forth, you know, I would just cause trouble and be crazy. And while I was doing it though, like I learned how to rap. I had these friends and they had this Zapp and Roger tape. Ooh. And it was the greatest hits, Zapp and Roger greatest hits. And it was the closest thing to an instrumental tape that I had.
Computer Love had a small section on there I think you could get down.
And More Bounce to the Ounce is just dope to rhyme to anyway. So, excuse me. So, yeah, so they were like, we should try rapping. And I was like, yeah, let's fucking rap, right? And so we all started doing it, and I just kept doing it. You know, I kept doing it. So then I started battling. I got into the battles out here. The first battle I won was actually in Seattle in the South End. And there was like this like little like youth center or whatever. And I like battled like 64 people just lined up in a row. And I just kept battling. I kept going. And then they like gave me this little trophy, and I was like, I didn't even know I was in a battle. I was just like going, you know? And I won my first battle out there in the South End of Seattle, came back here, and I was kind of just addicted to it, you know? But even before that, like, you know, we were talking about DJ Fresh.
Yeah.
And how you took over that show. That Sunday night show used to be, I was like, cause I was like in a really abusive, like growing up situation where like they would strip me of everything, and I would be in a, like they literally put me in a closet, right? And I would get clothes to go to school, and then I would come back home and there was like no door. They took all the doors. They like stripped me naked when I got home, and wow. Like, yeah. And all I had was this radio, and it was a broken piece of shit radio. And I had to like figure out how to rig it to get a station. And I got radio stations, and I finally got Kbu.
Yeah.
And I got Kbu, and so I would listen. And one Sunday I found HipHop on Kbu, and I had this like Boys to Men tape or something like that. And you know how you could, back in the day, you could like cover up the little area of the tape and record over it. So I would record over the tape every week so I could listen to it all week long. And that really is, I think, what got me going. Like it helped me escape like this really abusive situation that I grew up in. And it gave me like, you know, it's crazy, and I know this sounds bad, but it gave me the strength to run away from that situation. So I ran away from that home situation, and I went to the streets because I felt like, yo, I could do this, you know, I could do this. And when I did that, you know, I came out here to Portland from Vancouver because I was in Vancouver. I rolled out to Portland because I thought they're not going to find me out here, you know. I crossed the bridge, they're not going to fucking find me. And this is back in the day. They had like one bus that would go like one time a day
to Vancouver.
Yeah. And so I came out here, and I just you know, I stayed on the streets. I found a couple of friends, and I was in North, you know what I mean? So at the time, it was much different than it is now, right? Like the setting of Portland is like, I mean, now it's a little crazy, but like back then it was like really like heavy, you know, with the gangs. And so I just joined a crew, you know what I mean? I got with a crew, and they took care of me because I wasn't able to like, I got a job at Pizza Hut one time, and I lied about my age, but when it came time to like pay me, the Social Security's like, oh dude, this kid isn't old enough to work. So they'd have to pay me out the till and fire me. So the OGs would just like be like, yo, we'll give you work, you know? So I worked for the OGs, and they housed me. They put me on couches and stuff like that. So that like, and they would be like, rap for us. So I would just rap for them, and they'd be like, yo, rap about this, or put my name in a rap or whatever. So I just got really good at freestyling and like just doing that. And I never really took it serious because I was like, you know, I was living in the street, and I was like, this is my life. I'm going to be here forever, you know? But one time I got locked up. It's after they passed Measure 11. And they also, after they passed Measure 11, they also passed the law where they can lock up juveniles as adults. So I had been in and out of the juvenile system like my whole, you know, all my teenage years. And I was facing juvenile life at this point. And I had a social worker. I'll never forget him. And his name's Ron Kozlowski.
Shout out to Ron.
Yeah, Ron. Yeah, God bless him. And he would always try to like make my transition easier. And I was looking at like back then, juvenile life was, I think you would be locked up until you're like 25 or something like that. And so he told me, hey, I found some family of yours out of state. You can either go ahead and see the judge, or we can advocate to get you out of here and you cannot come back here ever again. You're not allowed back in the state.
Oregon.
And Oregon. And when I got that order, it was because I was in jail because I would go up and down. I'd go from like south all the way to north, and I would walk with like 4 of my homies, and we would rob every single person coming up the street. So, and we started with like a screwdriver. So we were robbing like everybody. Like at first it was like these little corny kids with like dealing weed or whatever. And then like we just started robbing everybody. And so we were doing it for like a week straight, right? So I didn't realize how much trouble we were causing because I was like young. You know, when you're a teenager, you're just fearless. Yeah. And you don't realize like what you're doing. I mean, you realize it, but you don't really, you know, the consequences don't matter, yeah? So the last robbery we did, like we robbed like Albertsons, and we had 4 of the aisles, and like we jacked all of them, and then we dipped out, and then we were just thinking, oh, it's a normal night, and then the helicopters started coming, right? And I was like, oh, helicopters. I didn't think they were for us, right? Like I was like, nah, whatever. But long story short, yeah, the helicopters hit us with the spotlight. We were trying to run from the spotlight. One of us got caught. He started snitching on everyone like right away. And then, you know, that was the end of my life, you know, at that point, as far as like that's concerned. So I was like, I got locked up for that. And that was like the final straw. I'd already been in so much trouble by that point. It was just like, nah, this kid's, you know, he's gone. And Ron Kozlowski, my fucking social worker, was able to come get me and found family of mine in Colorado. And he was like, we found some family. You can go there or you could stay here and deal with this shit. What do you want to do? And I said, put me on a fucking bus. What do you think I want to do?
Give me the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Because I knew I was just going to catch a bus and come right back. That's why. Not because I wanted to change my life. I wasn't ready for all that yet. All I wanted to do was get on the bus to get out of jail and then come right the fuck back. So I leave and I'm in Colorado and I'm just living or whatever for a second, and I come back. And when I come back, it's like everything is different. You know what I'm saying? Like my homies are locked up, they're dying, like people are getting killed, like people are strung out on fucking crank or meth or whatever the hell they're doing. People start doing heroin. It just started getting real bad. And it wasn't like how it was just 6 months prior to me, because I was locked up for like 6 to 9 months just waiting on the court stuff to happen. And when I got back, like everybody was gone. And I started evaluating shit. And I was like, where the fuck am I going with my life? I can't even find nobody anymore, you know? And I met this cat named Eno. He's from Africa. And I didn't know nothing about hip-hop. I knew about rap. I didn't know about hip-hop, like the culture. And he was like, yo, like, let me show you something. Because I was like, I rap. And he was like, oh, I rap too. And he goes, and I was rapping like gangster shit, just typical bullshit that I was listening to. And he was like, yo, check this out. And he popped in a mixtape, and it had, the first song was Big Pun off of a Capital Punishment album. And I heard this dude rhyme every single fucking word. I was so impressed. I was like, and at the speed that he rapped, I was like, whoa, who's this? And then KRS-One came on. I was like, what is this?
I want to cut you off there because I had to know, and that had to have been a name that came up right away. If my son's 14, I wouldn't let him go any further than KRS-One for step 1. So shout out to your homie. That's dope. Yeah.
Right? So and then I was like, what is this? And he goes, this is hip hop culture. And so Eno, he schooled me on what the culture was, what it meant, what it was more than the rap. It was more than gangbang. And it was like, it was this lifestyle. And so I started studying KRS-One, and I was like, and at that point, I had this moment where I'm like, okay, I'm leaving. And I left to Colorado, and I started studying hip-hop. I was like, what is this? What is this? And I went to take my GED because they wouldn't let me to school out there because of my record. You know, they're like, nah, we don't want you in our high schools. You can like go do some other things. So I had to take my GED, but I hadn't been in school since 6th grade, you know what I mean? So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna take the GED. I took the GED at this college, Colorado Mesa University, and I passed it. And I didn't study, I just like went in there to take it. I passed it. Then they were like, hey, do you wanna take your ACT? And I'm like, sure. So this same day that I took my GED, I took my ACT, not knowing what the fuck I was doing. Took it, and I scored good enough to get in school. And they were like, hey, do you wanna go to college? And I was like, hey, Kelsey. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'll go to college, but I don't got no money. You know what I mean? Like and they're like, don't even worry about it. So they took my hand, walked me right down to financial aid, and I started going to college like that next semester. And
what a whirlwind! You went from homeless or houseless all the way to enrolling into college in a matter of what, a couple of years?
Yeah, it was probably like two years total. Yeah. And then, but that's not the kicker. So the kicker is now I'm meeting people in college, and
you can't just sit there.
Yeah, I know. Here,
come hang out.
Come hither.
Just stay close enough. Stay close enough to him so you can say hi in the mic. You're good.
Hello. Hi.
This is Kelsey. She's one of the owners of Fused here.
Nice studio, by the way. Yes. Thank you for the invite. Love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's been really cool.
Right?
Catching up with old Big Wyno here.
Absolutely.
Definitely, right? So, so I meet this kid that's throwing a kegger at his mom's house, right? So I get this flyer and it says hip hop party, DJs, MCs, B-boys, come drink until you pass out, right? So I'm like, sounds like fun. Let's go, right? So I go to this party and I'm like, all of a sudden, this is my first exposure to all the elements in one place, right? I'm like, what is happening at this house party? This is amazing. And like the breakers are spinning, they're breaking the freaking glass in the kitchen, like the whole living room is turned into a club. I'm like, man, this is the shit. Kegs in the backyard, and the guy that threw it, his name is Bboy Centrix. And this is where that's significant. So Bboy Centrix, I get everybody's, so I'm trying to connect with all these guys. I'm getting every single rapper's phone number. I'm getting every single DJ, every breaker. I'm trying to get everybody's number in the town because I'm new to the area, right? And then I find out whose house it was. It was Bboy Centrix's house. So I hit him up later and we connected. We just vibed. And we were going to school at the same time. He was going for business. I was going for music education. And when that connection started, I started throwing events on my own. I was like, all right, I'm going to throw a B-Boy MC battle. And then he started throwing B-Boy MC battles. I started throwing an event called Cryptic Cypher. He started throwing an event called Skill Fest. All right? So we were throwing these events around the same time. He'd throw his in the summer. I always threw mine on my birthday in November, right? So I throw mine in November. He started throwing his in July, but then it started creeping into August on his second one. And he was like, yo, I'm doing an event in August. You're doing it in November. This town might not be big enough to do that. I was like, all right, well, what do you want to do? And he was like, well, maybe you could push yours back. I was like, I'm not going to push mine back. It's on my birthday, bro. And he was like, and I was like, it's been working for me. And then he was like, wow, dang, I got mine scheduled for August. And I was like, yo, why don't we just do it together? And we were trying to think.
That's how Skill Fest started,
essentially? That's how Skill Fest started. Yeah. And then because of Skill Fest, so KRS-One got into the picture, right? So now KRS-One changes my life because now I know what hip hop is, right? This guy, Bboy Centrix, becomes my manager, right? Him as my manager gets us on tour with KRS-One. Changed everything for us. Wow. Nothing was ever the same like after that. You know what I mean? So we went on tour with KRS-One. Now this is like, I'm in a group called Ill Fluent at the time. It's me and his brother. And these breakers are all there. And because what KRS-One does is, he was, at the time, he was going from place to place and he would pick you up. Like if you're a B-boy or a DJ or MC or whatever, and like he would like pick you up and you would just roll with him until the wheels fell off for you, right? Like he kept going, but could you make it to the end, right? So some people would be on the leg of this tour for like the DJ was from San Francisco and they would be there for like a couple of shows and then they dipped out at Salt Lake and then he might tap on a window, a guy that he found bumping KRS-One. He taps on the dude's window like, hey, come with me. Guy leaves his freaking bucket, jumps in the van and becomes his merch guy for the tour, right? Like, so these are the people that like made this huge impact on my life, right? Because he always represented every element and he educated the entire crowd in such an entertaining way that it was crazy.
I see where you get your love then. I see where you found your passion. I see where you found your determination to stay with this.
Yeah.
Whether they accepted you or anyone accepted you, you were like, I love this shit that's going on here.
Because it saved my life.
Yeah.
No, it really
It makes
saved my
sense
life.
to see you then move on with the Portland Hip Hop Awards, be part of the committee to help push the movement forward here in town. It all makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So that being said, that all of this, so we went into the music scene and we started doing the Skill Fest thing in the Four Corner region on the West Coast, and I went to prison as an adult. I got a life sentence. So I ended up getting a life sentence in like 2010. And all the stuff that I had built and worked for, right? I was living in Hollywood when this happened. So I was in Hollywood in LA and we were being courted by, we were talking to the record label A&Rs, we were working on that whole side of things. And, you know, we were in the right place doing everything. I mean, there wasn't every single day of the week pretty much, except for Sunday and Monday, we were on the Hollywood Boulevard Strip playing every single club there. We had promoters booking us for every single club in Hollywood, and they were just looking for us to like build a bigger audience in LA so they could see that it worked, because we were coming from a smaller market, like a Portland, like a Denver. Right. And they weren't willing to risk it quite yet unless they could be like, okay, does this concept work in bigger cities like LA?
If it booms here, it'll boom somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So in the midst of all that, I got arrested, and I got found guilty, and I got a life sentence. Right? So I got convicted. I got convicted of like 30 charges, got found guilty of all this shit. And I was like, yo, I didn't do it. But everybody says that. So
lawyer fucked me. Yeah.
Everybody fucking says that. So it took me 7 years to prove that. So I was in prison for 3.5 years before I was able to prove it. It took another 3.5 years for us to get out of the litigation to get me out. And then that was 3 years ago. So I came back home to Portland after that happened, and I've been here for the last 3 years. There's no digital content that was up about me up until 3 years ago. So all of this stuff people see as like an MC or as a promoter or whatever I'm doing has been happening over the last three years now. It'll be 3 years in March, I think.
This is going to be good for everybody to see, man.
Yeah.
To kind of get an idea of where, you know.
Yeah, especially all you fucking haters. I know you're out there. I love you guys, but fuck.
I saw your rant post. It was it covered it covered a fair share of what needed to be said. Yeah. So you did a good job there.
I love you guys though. I fucking still love you guys. Doors open. DM
I've never seen a list of 10 performers in my life cause such a big uproar. So, anything you want to say to all those, let's not call them haters, but people that maybe didn't feel recognized or didn't feel appreciated during this selection process, however it's done, it's not a concern, but what can we do to appease some of these people, maybe next year to see their efforts even harder? I feel like the biggest thing that people need to remember about, especially like the Star Awards, it's not about your views, it's not about your numbers, the money that you have. It's not about the concerts that you've thrown and all of those things. It has nothing to do with that. Those are for other awards, right? There's other award shows that are going to focus on that. And for those, you should be getting recognition. But this, like the Star Awards, does not focus on that. It focuses on what have you done for the community. And if you've been doing a lot for the community, then the people around you have the ability to get a sanctioned event to honor you. If your people around you aren't honoring you, it's not me you should be pointing the finger at, or it's not the team that you should be pointing the finger at, OG1 or any of these cats. You need to be really looking at the people around you, because they're the ones who are supposed to be lifting you up. I only know what other people say about you. I only know what we hear from, you know, the people that are talking about you. But if they're not talking about you, we don't hear nothing. You know what I mean? So I would say to the people that like feel like they were left out, man, have a conversation with people that you think you're being left out by, because most of the time, like, I wouldn't know, and I'm not even the decision maker in all of this either. Like, I'm not even a major player in the thing that, like, who makes these choices. But if you do want to know, if you do want to get in that conversation, you know, the PDX Hip Hop Collective is available to everybody. You know what I mean? We're both board members for the PDX Hip Hop Collective, and the only reason we're board members isn't because like there was like some divine like gatekeeping that chose us. We fucking volunteered. We volunteer our time just to do it for free because we want to give everyone a platform. It has nothing to do with like has nothing to do with who we are. It just has to do with like, are you willing to step up to the plate and get it done? And not everyone has the time for it, and I get that. Not everyone can do that, and that's cool. But I just the thing is before you like start, you know, going off and ranting about things, just like I would try to understand like the situation first. And I feel like one of the biggest things we haven't done is try to understand each other, especially after like COVID and stuff, you know? So now we're opening back up, and we're able to like try to understand each other again and try to like communicate with each other. We're about to go try and understand some other rappers, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
Like tonight. I think we're on our way to go understand some other rappers tonight even, right?
We're going to a show tonight.
We're going to a show like right after this. Yeah.
And that's the thing too, is no one can say, if you look at my closet, like all my closet is filled with every like artist you can think of. I've got all their merch, and I didn't accept any of it for free. I paid for all of it, even when they were trying to give it for free.
Dope.
You know what I mean? So like it's not like people are supporting and people are supportive, you know, and I think most people know that.
I don't mean to be selfish. We only got a couple minutes left on the show. Why don't you go scatter and get my gift real quick?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
You gonna be my bodyguard, bro? It's dangerous.
Come on, bring security. Bring security. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. No, thanks again. This is dope, man. This worked out great.
I know. I always feel like I'm a fucking infomercial. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's good. No, yeah, yeah. Saves a lot of time on the producer when I just get to sit and listen. So
let's see what we got here.
Well, we won't show you his car, but he's got a nice one. We got the Plum Loca. We'll fake it and say this is his car.
Right.
This is his car right here. This one.
It's all good. What kind do you want, man?
Oh, snap. Trunk full.
We got a trunk. Well, we got a few. We got the blue. We got the Lakers color. This is one of our artists, Doc Saint. We got his.
Dealer's choice, man. Whatever you think Jim would look the best in.
Man, I like this orange for you, to be honest.
Oh,
just
nice. That is nice. I feel like
you're a bright dude.
No, that is nice. Ooh, man. Hey, that's good love right there. Much love.
Definitely.
I'll sneak back around here.
Yeah, let's get some light.
No, this has been cool. Thanks for having me again. If there's anything I can do for you in the future, you let me know. We're going to go down and check out the show now.
Yeah.
Other than that, you want to say anything on the way out? You got about a minute or two.
Yeah, like, to be honest, I just want to let everybody know I fucking love you guys. Like, I've watched almost every one of these podcasts, bro, and I'm still working my way through them because there's been so many, and I love that there is. But I just wanted to say thank you for doing what you do, because I didn't know about so many of these artists, and now I feel like a little bit closer to a lot of them. So, you know, thank you for what you do. And
thank you.
And I appreciate everyone that's been on your show. It's been really dope to watch everyone's journey and hear about everyone's story, and I feel just like blessed to be here. So.
Dope. I'm excited for everybody to get to know you a little bit too. I think I learned a lot tonight as well. So hopefully the rest of our fans out there in Portland do too.
Right.
Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Let's go check some show.
Let's go.